And stories making headlines. Remember that we were just from a conversation talking about the Innovation Week, but even with innovation, talk about technology, the issues to do with cyber security and cyber concerns that we continue to have on a daily basis. In studio with me is Ben Obinju, a cyber security professional, who will just be taking us through these and how best we can protect ourselves while going through our various social media apps. Welcome to KTN News as we have this conversation. Now, Ben, as we talk right now, concerns across the globe now is issues to do with cybersecurity and how, while we can enhance these resources to do business, to grow ourselves, to innovate, security in the cyberspace is becoming a bit concerning. Why is that the case?
Thank you, Dennis. Cybersecurity is a big concern at the moment globally. And the main reason is that you find that cybercrime has increased, attacks are increasing, the data breaches have increased, the sophistication of the attacks have also really increased. And so it points to the fact that there's a lot of exposure in terms of risk around that area. You find that the attacks being more targeted, they are focusing on small businesses, they are focusing on individuals, and as such now, the concern globally is what do we do about cybersecurity? Yeah.
Now, as concerns continue growing, the sad thing is a lot of people don't have this information. You find someone was sent a link, they think it is a link directing you to more business. You click on it and like that you've lost business, you've lost your account. So in terms of just advising the users of these spaces on what not to do and what to do, what should they be looking at?
Well, users need to invest in cybersecurity hygiene. If you look at our normal day-to-day lives and our workplaces and where we stay, we've invested in fences, we've invested in walls, we have the perimeter security covered.
We have dogs.
We have dogs. But when it comes to our personal space, that is really wanting. So, the do's are, we need to focus on being more alert, looking out for clickbait. We need to look out for things that make us more vulnerable. We need to be very careful about our passwords. We need to invest more in softwares and technologies like antivirus that tend to protect your hardware, right? We need to focus on having stronger passwords, multi-factor authentication, looking at the Wi-Fi networks that we connect to. Are they well protected in that space? So those are some of the do's and don'ts on the online space. I think one of the biggest risks at the moment is phishing, whereby people tend to click very random links that they're not sure what is behind that. And that begs to mind the general awareness. So as we move around on our day-to-day spaces, we really need to be aware about what we're doing on that space.
Now, say I have a business that I'm running online using my website and all that. So then how do I defend that? What other options do I have, Bitdefender and other applications that are there? Where do I go basically? Because it's information that is not there. I can open my website today, but how do I protect it is the next question.
Okay, so in terms of website protection, there's what you call web application protection. So it's a software that runs behind, tends to protect your website. If you notice that of late, there have been a lot of attacks, especially even in the local Kenyan space, towards government websites, towards university websites. And these attacks lead to what is called denial of service, DDoS attacks. So these DDoS attacks tend to basically deny and hold information, and it disrupts. It makes it very hard for those institutions to now conduct their business. So in terms of that particular journey as a business, you need to look at the hardware, you need to look at the network protection, you need to look at aspects of your websites. It's a whole ecosystem that generally needs the business to plan around. Yeah.
And now, as technology continues to be a daily thing, it is very hard for you to find someone leaving their phones at home and surviving the whole day. It's such a tall order. That means our phones have become a very important aspect of our lives. That means technology, our cyberspaces is part of us whether we like it or not. You go a place and you want to connect to public Wi-Fi. How dangerous is that?
Well, yeah, that's very dangerous because some of the public Wi-Fi networks are not secured. So the best way to go about it is to ensure that your device is protected. Have an antivirus. Bitdefender has a good one. Have it at the back end on your mobile phone, have it on your laptop. It will give you an alert that you're connecting to an unsecure network. And that gives you some fortitude that you can now take the next step. You can actually connect through a VPN. You can actually decide what to do. Yeah, but at least you're aware that you are connecting to an unsecure network, and there are certain risks in terms of proceeding with that connection. Yeah.
And how, you see, at home, we have televisions that are Wi-Fi ready, they have cameras, we have our phones and our laptops. Someone can hack your system and watch you from miles away. How do we protect ourselves from home where I don't have information to do with, say, having an application Bitdefender? Say I don't have the VPNs and all these things. What is the easiest and most simplified way of taking care of your business at home?
Same thing is that you need to protect first your devices that connect to your home Wi-Fi network. Okay. The responsibility of the strength of the connection in terms of security lies with the provider, but per se on yourself, you need to be at least protected. So that would mean that, again, the devices that are connecting to your home Wi-Fi network need to have the antivirus on it. They need to have some form of protection. Because at home, essentially, it's the phone that's connecting to the Wi-Fi network. It's a smart TV that's connecting to the Wi-Fi network. It's the laptop that's connected to the Wi-Fi, or the tablets, or your cameras. So at the end of the day, the device protection is key. That at least gives you a certain layer of security when it comes now to protection in the home area.
Now, I have a Wi-Fi at home. Is it safe for me to give everyone my password? And does that also expose my Wi-Fi connection?
Yeah. Obviously, it is not safe. As you say, the password is unique, and we always recommend that the password is ever changing and ever evolving. We also recommend that the password should be strong. You should also have a two-step authenticator on the password, so that it's not that every person can be able to access your private home network. Because then, once you access, then those who are quite cyber savvy can be able to go a deeper level and access more information. So we encourage that the password is one of the few steps towards cyber hygiene that we encourage people to always focus on. Have strong passwords. Do not share your passwords as often. Be careful where you put your passwords, be it online. Be careful about your personal information that you share. Those are some of the few steps that we encourage people to take in terms of just cyber hygiene. So definitely the password should not be out
shared.
There. Yeah.
That is very important information, because you find every other day people host parties and can I get your Wi-Fi password? So it is important for people to take care of themselves. Yeah. But now, even at home nowadays, you have a small baby there crying. Take the laptop, baby shark is all we do nowadays. Yeah. And we find that as children grow, phones, tablets, and laptops have become their daily place to go and relax, have fun, or even just to do research. You find that we have children who are technologically savvy on a level we can't really explain. Now, as a parent, how do I take care of my child?
Yeah, that there is a big challenge, and a lot of responsibility now lies with the parents to be able now to monitor. I think it starts with monitoring. I'm also a parent, and we also struggle to monitor the content that our children are accessing online. They're into gaming sites. Part of the school program entails that they do a lot of online research. So we go back to the basics again. One thing is to ensure that the device that they're using has sufficient protection, which we start with an antivirus, and ensure that it has parental control. Parental control ensures that you can monitor that particular device. You can monitor the hours the child is on. You can monitor the sites. You can even restrict the amount of time that you'd like the child to spend online. And to a larger extent also now be able to command what they're accessing, what they're viewing, and also be able to block external links that they will, which can have access to them. We've had instances where children enter gaming sites, and you find that cybercrime is to an extent where AI, they can be able to use a picture of someone that they think is their friend, and that is not really their friend, and they're chatting with the wrong person, and so they become very vulnerable, and they're taken advantage of. So parental control and having a very strong parental control solution is where it counts.
And Ben, now, you see, how it works nowadays, rather how I have seen it, it's always a question of a tablet or a phone is the easiest way to shut down a child. And parents don't have the extra information on how to take care and protect their children. In a very simple way, where do they go to first? Or where can they get resource and information that will help them protect their children?
Yeah, it still boils down to, one, the interest of the parent, and the parent being made aware. A lot needs to be done on the school level, where the parents need to be educated about best practices in terms of managing their children online and their online habits. As Be Defender, we've also been really trying to put it out there in terms of the product that is available, which is a total security. That covers all devices, has strong parental control, and now with strategic partners, we are now pushing a very strong message out there to ensure that this information gets to the parents, that there's a solution that's accessible. Invest in parental control, and you'll see a big difference in terms of your children's online habits and how they're interacting with their gadgets.
Now, someone would argue that if, say, I'm using a social media space, I'm accessing, say, a platform, say, Meta, one would argue that it is the responsibility of Meta to screen or to put a ring fence on what a child is consuming if they've logged into their space with a child's account. If it does not protect the child from attacks, do we as parents, do we as consumers have responsibility? Can we sue, or where do we go in such cases? Because I believe responsibility is two ways: as a parent and as the provider of a specific niche.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the likes of Meta, the Googles, have very strong content filtering behind their platforms. Okay, so they will filter content that is not correct for the children, and that's why when you decide to register on Facebook or Google, it will always ask for your age, and they will ask how old are you, and if you're below a certain age, then you don't have access to that platform. They also assume that once you have access to that platform, that you are an adult and you know how to conduct yourself. So, and they say that on their side that they are always secure, they have the right systems, but a lot of the obligation also lies on the consumer. Yeah. So to that extent, it's meet me halfway, right? You also need to ensure that you have the right systems behind you to protect you. Well, to some extent, well, you can argue that if you decide to sue them on net, will you go through? Maybe yes, maybe no. They have been capable in some instances in terms of accessing your personal data, which over time that they have been very, very quick to adjust the terms and conditions to cover those blind spots that we've seen. Yeah, but overall, a lot of the cyber security hygiene is
on the consumer.
Yes.
And now, even on these, what is the place of the government? Because it is the government that gives the licenses for us to have all these websites and facilities here. So in terms of the government being the first measure of screening and allowing what we have, because we've seen even the government, like the Ugandan government has came out so strong and said some websites should not be in our space. So in terms of government being one of the security measures for us, the consumers, how important is that, and do you think the government is doing enough?
Yeah, the government has been doing quite a bit. I think the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, that is of 2018, came into place. It's very strong. It has a lot of strong legal laws around cybercrime. I mean, the fines are punitive. It's about a maximum of $30,000. That's like now 4 million, or imprisonment. We have the Ministry of ICT, who have the cyber security strategy that they are exploring on a countrywide basis. We have the Data Protection Law 2019 that brought in the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. And so the government has been very strong. They're also going through a lot of programs in terms of training and awareness with various strategic partners to ensure that the aspect of cybercrime gets the attention that it deserves. So there's a lot of information, and at least we can see that right now, cybercrime is actually being investigated on a very serious level. Issues to do with cybercrime. I think on Monday there was also a topic about how you can find that phones are getting lost, and there's a big issue about the crime aspect. The investigation is also very strong, I can say that, from a confidential perspective. So they are doing quite a bit in terms of just ensuring that businesses have a recourse if you're affected by cybercrime.
Now, we'd say that in the country we have the ICT ministry that is dealing with that. We have the Office of the Data Office, but we saw the other day when guys' irises were being scanned all over the country. Do you think at that particular point we slept, we just allowed something wrong to happen in the country?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, as we just discussed, the obligation lies with the consumer. The consumer needs to be alert. The consumer needs to be aware.
But do they have the information?
Yeah, the awareness, there's a lot of awareness that needs to be done, I would say, consistently and continuously to the consumer. Yeah, the consumer needs to know where is my information going to. Yeah, I am sharing personal information, and those are some of the small foundations of cyber hygiene that we need to look at. When you go on a website, put in information, where does it end up to? You find that it ends up on the dark web. There are solutions for digital protection that actually scan your social media sites and keep on telling you that this password is vulnerable, that please change this password. And as such, there's a bigger need for the consumer to be aware to prevent such acts of where the irises were being scanned. And well, at the end of the day, you don't know where that information is going to or how it's going to be used. Yeah.
And finally, I think let's just track back a little bit. When you talked about when you're logging into these social media spaces, it will always ask you for your age. You find that there are parents out here who've opened actually social media pages for their children. Just how risky is that?
Yeah, that is very risky. I think it goes back to the objective of why the parent registered the child on social media. Yeah, if you're doing that, it definitely has to be supervised because you're registering a minor, and we encourage that parents to take a very proactive role when doing certain things, or else simply don't register the minor on social media if you do not have the time and resources to be able to monitor what they're doing. Yeah.
And finally, moving forward, as we know that our phones and the social media space is a good place to be in and to do business. Would you just explain, even while we are doing that, finally, that we need to take precautions and what we must do to take care of ourselves? Okay,
it goes two ways. There is the consumer, the individual. I would definitely recommend that invest in softwares. Right, build a perimeter around your cyberspace. Okay, invest in good softwares, and invest and read more about awareness. There's a lot of resource on the internet about a few steps that you can take in terms of password management and in terms of your data and how you share information across the internet. On a business perspective, all businesses have a posture for risk. The risk is a very critical aspect of any business, and cybercrime has been labeled as one of those key silent risks that businesses are not aware about. So the businesses now need to embrace the fact that cybercrime is live. They need to invest in a strategy. They need to put aside budgets simply to invest in that particular aspect. It's no longer about simply investing in hardware, having good laptops, having good phones, while you don't have any softwares running behind to protect your assets. So it's a two-way process. Then the message is purely invest in cybersecurity hygiene.
Ben Obinju, cybersecurity expert, says that while you are enjoying yourself on the social media, you have a website, you're doing your business, you are giving your child your phone to go on social media sites, the responsibility lies with you. Consumers have a role to play, even as we ask the government to play their role, that we cannot be caught flat-foot while talking about issues to do with cybercrime. It is a major issue as we speak in this country today, and that for you to take care of yourself, you must be on the front line and make sure that you're doing that which you must do. My name is Dennis Aseto. Many thanks for keeping us company, for everybody that made this a success. Asante sana. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good morning.